The following is a production of Learfield Sports.
Badgers had to work for it, but they pulled away in the second half en route to a 27-10 victory against South Florida. Melvin Gordon rushing for 181 yards and 2 touchdowns. Both of those scores and 131 of those yards coming in the second half. Wisconsin also getting a couple of turnovers, including a big one early in the fourth quarter. We'll hear from Mr. Gordon as well as Derek Landish, Vince Beagle, among others. We'll also check in with Mark Tauscher, the former Badger and Packers offensive lineman, who in his spare time joins us from time to time in the radio booth. And of course, we'll sit down with head coach Gary Andersen. All of that and more coming up on the Badger Sports Report.
Austin Ramish, the fullback, hand off Gordon over the right side, slips a tackle inside the 40, breaks another tackle, goodbye, 30, 20, 10, 5, touchdown, Melvin Gordon, 43 yards, busting through the South Florida defense. Andersen wing left, motions to the right. McAvoy wants to throw, under pressure, throws over the middle, that's caught, Sam Andersen, touchdown, Wisconsin. To the 10, to the 5, touchdown, Wisconsin, Corey Clement. Taken down by Michael Caputo. 30, 20, 10, 5, touchdown, Wisconsin, Melvin Gordon. 20, 10, 5, touchdown, Wisconsin, Kansas go!
The Badger Sports Report with Gary Andersen is brought to you by Charter Communications, by the Dairy Farm Families of Wisconsin, the Wisconsin Milk Marketing Board, by Hyundai, by Adidas, by Toyota, and by UW Health, a cornerstone partner of Wisconsin athletics.
Most people don't know that UW Health and the University of Wisconsin are national leaders in the field of kidney transplant. They provide new life for those who will likely die without a transplant, and they assure a normal life for those who donate. I would know. I donated a kidney, and together, we saved a life.
UW Health. Remarkable.
We'll be making a traditional octopus salad, drizzled with some olive oil and topped with a dash of salt and pepper.
It's funny how seeing a clearer picture can lead you to see the bigger one. Get the most HD channels and the fastest internet on the most advanced fiber network. Charter Spectrum. Where will it take you?
Whether you're out there training for a big event or you're just trying to stay in shape, I have a bit of advice. It's important to remember that what happens after the workout is just as important as what happens during the workout. My advice? Be sure to refuel with low-fat chocolate milk. It has the perfect mixture of protein, carbs, and electrolytes to help you refuel, rehydrate, and build muscle. In Wisconsin, athletes win with low-fat chocolate milk. And you can too. To learn more, visit winwithchocolatemilk.com.
Fans use signs to identify themselves. The chop, the fork, the O, hook 'em horns. But there's one sign everyone wants to be identified with. Number 1, fans show their loyalty in all kinds of ways. Ours just buy another Hyundai. Number 1 in customer loyalty 5 years in a row. Show your loyalty using the hashtag #ThisIsLoyalty.
Here's Corey Clement trying the right side, cuts it back to the 25. Clement to the 20, slips into the tackle, inside the 15, and down to the 10-yard line. My goodness.
Badgers conclude the non-conference portion of the schedule 3-1 after a 27-10 victory against South Florida on Saturday afternoon. 3-3 at the half as South Florida, to its credit, brought some pretty good defensive football into Camp Randall. You mentioned this, Gary, in your radio interview, that you'll find things that you'll want to fix here at this club. But I think salty might be a pretty good word with the South Florida defense. I know it's a word you like to use. You credit those guys. Not a bad game in some ways for your guys to have, knowing that it wasn't over. The outcome wasn't decided going into the fourth quarter?
Yeah, there's definitely some positives that can be gained from that. And as I look back and I spend some time with the kids in the locker room and just watch them as they depart after the game, they're excited about Monday. You know, they know they didn't play their best, but my hat goes off to South Florida as well. They were a fast football team. I thought their coaches on offense and defense did a very nice job of, you know, selecting plays that gave them an opportunity to have a couple big plays, especially on the offense. Paul Wolf, their offensive coordinator. So it was good. It's always great to win. I mean, the bottom line, they keep score for a reason. But we need to continue to grow and develop and learn from it.
You mentioned the resiliency of this team. That's one of the things you've noticed about this Badger team through 4 games. Pretty good example of that would seem to be the third quarter, right? It's 3-3, and then the running game really gets rolling in that third quarter.
Yeah, it did. I felt like at halftime we were so close. You know, and their safeties came down and tackled very, very well. They tackled Melvin Lowe. They were aggressive, and they got a hat on him. And a couple times where you thought it was going to break through there, they just did a nice job of getting him to the ground. And we talked about just getting 6 more inches, just give them another foot, and it took place, and there they went. But they, you know, overall as a team, I felt like they, again, were not happy at halftime by any stretch of the imagination, but I didn't feel like I had to go in there and, you know, yell and scream. A week ago at 40-10, I kind of felt that way a little bit. I was like a little bit, I didn't think we were firing on those cylinders the way we wanted them to, and we were by no means in this game either, but it was different. It was a different feel for me. It was just, we're close, just keep on fighting, and they did.
Every coach in America, I would think, wants to emphasize turnovers. Every defensive coach in America, a huge turnover is your guys' force. Lugan Fagara, what a heck of a play that was in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, that's an unbelievable play. A true freshman, great effort, late in the game. You know, he's in the moment. He finds a way to get down there and make that play, and Vince Beagle had unbelievable effort to be there to recover it. You know, it's potentially a 3-point game right there real quick on us if those 2 kids don't make that play, and then the offense answered and went 90 yards. So great team concept there. Those are special plays that can flip a season.
You mentioned that 90-yard drive. That was a 9.5-minute drive. You love the explosive plays, but in a situation like that, grinding out a lot of yards and a lot of time, pretty timely drive. Right?
Yeah, it was. It put us back in, you know, some sort of a driver's seat, I guess, at that point. And I like the way that they, again, just kind of got through that drive. They fought through it. They grounded out. Had to throw it. Had to run it. Made some plays with our feet. It was a positive to see.
I don't think any team in America would call itself a finished product right now. But as you get ready for Big Ten play, the mistakes, I know you want to get corrected, but big picture, you encouraged with where your team is right now?
Yeah, well, you know, I like this team. I like the way they carry themselves. I like the way they practice. You know, I look at myself on when it's not quite right, and I have an unsettled feeling of just why they were the way they were in the first half, and I'll look back at myself and try to help them and get that figured out. But their expectation level for themselves is very high. They expect to play well. They expect to win, which is great to see, and they practice well. But we still got so much growing up to do. We really do, on and off the field, and the way we prepare, the way we handle certain situations, and you know, we need to help them as coaches.
All right, Badgers getting ready for the Big Ten opener. That'll be this Saturday afternoon down at Ryan Field in Evanston, Wisconsin and Northwestern. 2:30 kickoff Central Time. Northwestern impressive this past weekend as well in its game against Penn State. So a very good matchup, it seems, to start Big Ten play. Coach Andersen returns in a few minutes with this week's Great Dane Great Question of the Week. That and more as we continue with the Badger Sports Report.
Today I felt like I really needed to step up vocally to get our team moving. My mindset when I came out, I was just going to run. I would just run hard. Just run as hard as you can. And if plays happen, they happen. If they stop me, they're going to stop me, but they're going to feel me, you know, when they stop me.
We built some momentum. We kind of have an identity on defense. You know, we want to make big plays. We want to create turnovers. And, you know, we want to carry that into Big Ten play.
And it was a blown coverage. I was just chasing the ball down, a high-effort play. Was fortunate enough to have the freshman safety, Lubin, knock the ball out, and I was fortunate enough to have be in the right spot at the right time, ball fall in my hands, and first down Wisconsin.
Heading to Northwestern, how much forward are you looking at that?
I'm excited. I love Northwestern, the program that Fitzgerald's done there. It's just amazing, and it's going to be a fun game. Those guys love to work hard and love to fight, and that's what we do too, so I'm excited for it.
It's 2050. I'm one of 9 billion people on the planet. Like most, I live in the city. Our air and water are clean, and there's plenty of fresh food for everyone. My parents are getting old, but staying healthy. Good thing, because my kids will probably live to be 100. Can you imagine?
The University of Wisconsin-Madison, preparing minds to meet the challenges of the future before they become the challenges of today. Keep on, Wisconsin. Keep on.
I'm joined now by a very special guest. He's a former Auburndale Apache. See, I remember that kind of stuff. And he's a former Green Bay Packer as well, but more importantly, he's a former Wisconsin Badger. It's Mark Tauscher. Mark, how you been?
I've been good. You guys must be slow. You're asking me to come on, so you must be running out of ideas.
We ran out of ideas, and we said, hey, maybe Mark Tauscher is available. But tell us what you've been up to.
Well, I've been fortunate enough for the last couple of seasons to do the home games with Matt and Mike and try to learn a little bit about how to call a game. So I'm still waiting for Mike to give me some tutelage as far as how to do that. But it's been, in all seriousness, it's been a lot of fun to learn from these guys and see how they go about preparing and doing the things to put this whole production together.
You played football for so long. How different is it for you to be way up high here in the press box and to see the game unfold like that?
It's fun. You still, when you play football and you do a lot of football stuff over the course of your life, you want to stay involved, and this is a really fun way of kind of getting a different look at it. Not only do you get a look at it from being a former player, you also see what the media is trying to do, and as you're playing, the media it's almost viewed upon as an enemy because they're trying to dig and find stuff out where you're just trying to keep your team stuff together. So this has been a lot of fun to be up here and watch how a game unfolds and just kind of be able to talk about what you're seeing. Even if it's not right, you still can put out your point of view.
Running back is Corey Clement. Here's the handoff to Clement. Big hole straight ahead to the 10. Clement to the 5. Clement to the end zone. Touchdown, Wisconsin.
Just a simple zone play left and a great job by the backside. Right guard Costigan, right tackle Havenstein finishing their blocks, and Clement just being patient enough, barely getting touched until he got to the 1 yard line.
Bowling Green's overmatched physically.
Have you learned anything? I know we might laugh about it, but have you learned anything from Matt and Mike? What have they told you, and how have they helped you along?
Well, I think the biggest thing with radio is Matt does such a great job of describing the play, and you have to give it back to him. And now it's kind of funny with these up-tempo offenses. We're playing Bowling Green today that likes to do that. His job is that much tougher as analysts, especially when there's two people in the booth. Your words are very tough to get in, so it's just the preparation and the professionalism that these two guys have, and the years that they've done it, and the chemistry that they have. I joke a lot of times those two are like an old married couple in here. They're a lot of fun to be around, and I think we're very fortunate to have both these guys doing the radio broadcast.
On third down, they'll hand it to Clement, running right to the 15. Clement rams his way inside the 10 and down to about the 8 of Bowling Green.
Tauscher, you had that happen to you when you can feel the running back right behind you, Dallas Llewellyn?
Yeah, usually they just jamming in your back, like, get moving, big fella, you're in my way. And that was the case. No one to block. He was trying to find a guy, just shove it up in there, get moving, and that was a really nice job picking up that first down.
How do you prepare? How do you get ready for a game? How do you walk in the booth and say, I'm ready to go?
I really just want to make sure I know the pronunciation of the names, because for me, Mike has got all of the details as far as in 1962, so-and-so did such. It's more for me, like, why did a play develop and what made the result of that play happen? That's really what I'm trying to focus on. And unfortunately for me, a lot of times my focus is on the line. I'm not looking at the big picture enough. That's something that I've tried to do more, is to see, well, why did something happen in the secondary? Because naturally my focus usually tends to go back to the guys up front.
Ramish just had one of the best blocks you'll ever see. Locked him up, loaded him, and dumped him on his back.
Do you feel like maybe you're too critical sometimes, or maybe that you're too easy because you're a former Badger?
No, I don't think I'm critical. If anything, I'd say I'm probably not as critical, especially college. I just know how tough it is. There was a time, I remember one of the games where we were calling, I think it was a Michigan State game, and Mike was kind of giving one of our tackles a hard time on cutting off a guy that's going to be a first or second round pick. And the old saying in our locker room used to be, those guys are on scholarship too. They're going to make some plays. If anything, I'm probably not as critical, especially in the college game, because it's a tough job.
We're going to talk a little bit about memories from college, but do you have any memories from in the booth yet?
Yeah, a little bit. When Lucas was jumping around and doing that stuff, that's when I started thinking, man, I've fallen a long way.
Tell me about your playing days. You have so many memories, so many great times here in Madison. But what sticks out to you?
To me, there's two games, and they both were to clinch Rose Bowls. The Penn State game and then the Iowa game where where Ron broke the record, and it was just such an emotional day. The last game as a player here on campus, but both times, night games. The jump around is such a huge part of it, but just those two games always stick out that, this is big-time college football, and we just did something great to put ourselves in a chance to go out and play in Pasadena. And when you grow up here and you see the '93 team do it, it was something that we dreamed about when we came here, and to be able to fulfill that out here on that field that night in that atmosphere is pretty special.
And as far as the campus goes, anything you miss from there? I know you're still in the area.
Now that you're a middle-aged guy, it's not near as much fun as. But great campus. You could not ask for a better place to go to school and a better place to play athletics. If you want to be in a big-time college atmosphere and get a good education, this is the place to be.
And it's still fun to be around the program and things like that.
It's a lot of fun. There's, you got great people, and you have, like I said, the atmosphere and the support that, the state offers this program is pretty outstanding.
All right, Mark Tauscher, he's the man, he's the myth, he's the legend. Thanks for joining us.
You got it.
When you have the fastest internet speeds, you can find anything almost instantly, which is a powerful thing. Because sometimes it's not so much what you're looking for, but how fast you can find it that makes all the difference. Get the most advanced fiber network. Charter Spectrum. Where will it take you?
Some call it a miracle. Others call it science. But for those who've needed a kidney transplant like Kelly Krager, they simply call it a new lease on life. For nearly 5 decades, UW Health and the University of Wisconsin have been national leaders in the field of kidney transplant, providing a new life for recipients and assuring a normal life for living donors. Miracle? Science? Maybe it's a little bit of both. UW Health. Remarkable.
Wisconsin cheese, making good food great.
The Learfield Sports Directors Cup is the officially sanctioned annual award recognizing all-around excellence in men's and women's collegiate competition. NACDA and USA Today co-founded this esteemed honor in 1993, still widely recognized as the crowning achievement in college athletics.
Really enjoy your time here. It does go fast, when you're a freshman or a redshirt freshman or your sophomore, third year here or second year here or whatever it is, you're like, oh my God, I'm never going to get to my senior year. It's so far away. Then you actually get there and you're like, holy crap, where'd the time go?
Who were some of the guys that kind of paved the way for you that you really looked up to?
Being an offensive lineman, we got a pretty tight-knit group, and so we all hang out together and, shoot the crap together and everything. So just guys like, even my freshman year, Gabe and John Moffitt gave me some good advice and just kind of, give me something to kind of hold on to. And then, kind of growing up through the ranks, it was, Ricky Wagner and then Josh coming back and helping us out with coaching. And he was a big mentor for me. And then just hanging out with Travis and Ryan, just kind of seeing how they, went through things, in the game, the practice, or whatever it is, just everyday school life. I had questions I'd go up and ask them. So just some of the O-line guys, I would say.
How would you describe your leadership style?
Some guys are mainly vocal. Some guys are mainly, kind of show up and, you lead by example. I think Kyle Koskins a great example of that. He's not going to come out and talk too much, but, you see the guy work, and, he's working his buns off every single day. And I try to be a little bit of both, just to add a bit more vocalization in the on the team and just kind of saying how I feel and how I feel like the team should kind of.
But you need to have a good mixture of different kinds of leaders in order to have a successful team.
True. If you have just one type and nobody's saying anything, you could have a bunch of hard workers, but for the younger guys, you really need some more kind of, more vocal, just kind of, young guys are going to have, bad days where they're down on each other, it's like, oh, I got 5 E's here, that was the worst day of my life, or something like that. You just need someone to come along, pick them up and say, you know what, we've all been there. Believe it or not, I was a freshman at one point. And
what are some particular memories that stand out and why?
Some of the best memories I've had is just hanging out with the guys. It wasn't really one particular game. Obviously, we've had some big games, some big wins, and some great moments with that, with the 3 Rose Bowls and everything. But the best memory is just kind of hanging out with, whether we're fishing or at the Union or doing something stupid. We're just sitting there watching TV and just hanging out with a bunch of good people. I think I made a heck of a choice coming here, and everyone that comes here, should feel the same way, just because I think the world of this place. I think we recruit a certain type of player, and that that's hungry, that wants to get better. They might not be nationally ranked coming out of high school or whatever it is, but they've got that drive to go ahead and be better and excel and whatever the team needs them to do. They switching positions or just coming in as an offensive lineman and just being the best offensive lineman you can be. And I think, and also we have a lot of tradition of just winning and turning out great players, and I think everyone wants to be a part of that. I put that helmet on with pride every single day, just because I know that my time is slowly running out. You kind of, when you get here, you turn the clock. It's kind of winding down on my time, and so I take a lot of pride in putting it on there. And then even when even when I'm out of this place, whether it's down the road with football or I'm in some business or I'm driving a truck or whatever, I'm still going to be wearing a Wisconsin hat. And whenever I go, someone's saying, you went to Wisconsin? Heck yes, I did. And, kind of go up and talk to them and see if where they went, and tell them my college is better.
Fans use signs to identify themselves. The chop, the fork, the O, hook 'em horns. But there's one sign everyone wants to be identified with. Number 1. Fans show their loyalty in all kinds of ways. Ours just buy another Hyundai. Number 1 in customer loyalty 5 years in a row. Show your loyalty using the hashtag #ThisIsLoyalty.
We'll be making a traditional octopus salad, drizzled with some olive oil and topped with a dash of salt and pepper.
It's funny how seeing a clearer picture can lead you to see the bigger one. Get the most HD channels and the fastest internet on the most advanced fiber network, Charter Spectrum. Where will it take you?
Most people don't know that UW Health and the University of Wisconsin are national leaders in the field of kidney transplant. They provide new life for those who will likely die without a transplant, and they assure a normal life for those who donate. I would know. I donated a kidney, and together, we saved a life.
UW Health. Remarkable.
Whether you're out there training for a big event or you're just trying to stay in shape, I have a bit of advice. It's important to remember that what happens after the workout is just as important as what happens during the workout. My advice? Be sure to refuel with low-fat chocolate milk. It has the perfect mixture of protein, carbs, and electrolytes to help you refuel, rehydrate, and build muscle. In Wisconsin, athletes win with low-fat chocolate milk. And you can too. To learn more, visit winwithchocolatemilk.com.
The Badger Sports Report with Gary Andersen is brought to you by Charter Communications, by the Dairy Farm Families of Wisconsin, the Wisconsin Milk Marketing Board, by Hyundai, by Adidas, by Toyota, and by UW Health, a cornerstone partner of Wisconsin Athletics.
Time for this week's Great Dane Great Question of the Week. And for this week's question, we go up to Minocqua, and we hear from Mike, who Wants to know, Coach, you hear a lot about halftime adjustments, something announcers talk about, writers write about. How much schematically really does change from the first to the second half on average?
Well, it really depends on the game. I think it depends on number two, how you're playing. And sometimes teams will flip back and they'll show you something that was very abnormal. So it's an important part of the game. It's important for our kids to understand there is going to be halftime adjustments, sometimes more than others. In my opinion, it's a huge part of the football game. You know, if everything's good, why change it? But when it's not so good, you are going to have halftime adjustments, and their ability to be able to make sure as a coaching staff that you're presenting something that they can absorb and they can understand very quickly and be able to execute it. You got to be careful, and then the kids have got to understand that there is a tweak here, their ability to be able to communicate and say, Coach, yeah, we can handle that, or you know what, I'm a little bit cloudy on that. So it's not really the mass or the amount of the halftime adjustments to me. It's more of making sure you're doing your best to coach that they're the right ones and that they're understood well.
You're counting on those players or those leaders to say, yep, we got you.
No
And if
question.
not, they let you know.
Yeah, no question. Yeah, if they're uncomfortable with it, I would surely hope that they would say, Coach, you know, we're not just, if they accept it just because we say it, then, you know, we're not the team we think we are.
All right, thanks much for the question. There are 4 Great Dane locations in Madison, the east side of town, downtown, Fitchburg, as well as Hilldale. Coach Anderson's radio show at the Great Dane Hilldale every Thursday night at 7 o'clock. And, of course, there is the Great Dane up in Wausau as well. Big Ten play starts Saturday afternoon down in Evanston, Illinois. Wisconsin taking on Northwestern. Kickoff down at Bryant Field set for 2:30 Central Time. We'll talk to you next week after that conference opener. Thanks for watching.
Fans use signs to identify themselves. The chop, the fork, the O, hook 'em horns. But there's one sign everyone wants to be identified with. Number 1, fans show their loyalty in all kinds of ways. Ours just buy another Hyundai. Number 1 in customer loyalty 5 years in a row. Show your loyalty using the hashtag #ThisIsLoyalty.
The Learfield Sports Directors Cup is the officially sanctioned annual award recognizing all-around excellence in men's and women's collegiate competition. NACDA and USA Today co-founded this esteemed honor in 1993, still widely recognized as the crowning achievement in college athletics.
It's 2050. I'm one of 9 billion people on the planet. Like most, I live in a city. Our air and water are clean, and there's plenty of fresh food for everyone. My parents are getting old, but staying healthy. Good thing, because my kids will probably live to be 100. Can you imagine?
The University of Wisconsin-Madison, preparing minds to meet the challenges of the future before they become the challenges of today. Keep on, Wisconsin. Keep on.